What is up, fellow nerds, and welcome back to the Dapper Snapper Gaming channel, and welcome back to How Do I Want to Do This? This is our series where we take a look at all playable options available to players in Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, then we rank them on a scale of 1 to 10 and either build them or fix them depending on how they rank. Now today we finish up our talks on the Sun Soul Monk and also just the Monk in general, which is a bittersweet moment, but I think it's going to be awesome as we go to fix this incredibly disappointing subclass. But before we do that, make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe if you haven't already. As you can see, most people who watch the channel are not subscribed, so please don't be one of those people. Help us to reach our goal of 5,000 by the end of this year. I think we can do it, but I need your help in order to get there. Of course, make sure that you also click the bell so you're notified when new videos are uploaded, and share the video with your friends. One other great way to support the channel, which is very relevant to today's video, is joining the channel as well. Down below, there is a join button, and with that, at the lowest tier, you can actually support the channel and get access to today's subclass fix and all of my previous ones, as well as all of my build guides that I do normally as part of this series. Of course, for $2 a month, that gives you access to all of those forever, which is fantastic. And it also gives you access to all of the ones in the future, as long as you stay subscribed. So that's fantastic. Of course, at the silver level and above, you're going to get a shout out just like right now. So thank you so much to all of my silver and above members. You all are so amazing for going above and beyond to help to support this channel and make it what it is. I really appreciate all of you for doing that. And all of those members also got this video early, which is fantastic. Finally, at the gold tier, you get the priority picks for our variety builds. And so we're going to be doing a variety build next week, actually. And so if you are at the gold level, maybe your idea can get shot to the top of that list. I don't know. The list is still very short. So now is the time to get in there and really do that. Again, I appreciate all of the support from all of you, whether you are joined or not. Thank you for being here. So let's jump into this fix. Again, all of this is available for you by joining the channel, but I'm going to go ahead and hit the highlights of this, and we're just going to go through it, and I would love to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. So what I have done here is I have made several key changes, pun intended, that make this work better as a kit with itself, and just work better with the monk kit in general. So let's go through these. So starting with Radiant Sunbolt, right? I thought that the wording of it was just a little clunky originally. And so what I've done is I've just shortened it up. And instead of it being this spell attack that we can do and all this other stuff that we have to keep track of, it's now just essentially a special version of our unarmed strikes. So it functions like an unarmed strike. It is an unarmed strike. We just get 30-foot range and it deals radiant damage instead of bludgeoning. That's it. So we can now, of course, use unarmed strikes that far away. Now, this does present some interesting interactions that I want to talk about. Number one, with the Sentinel feat, because now our range is 30 feet, 35 if you want to go bugbear. And so that's also kind of interesting, so that we have just a really long way around us. And so we can Sentinel people from really far away. And so that's kind of weird, right? That would be something to talk to your DM about if you have two ranges, if you have the 30-foot range and this range. That's kind of up to your DM. I would argue that you just have the one that's the 30 feet away, but that's just me. But of course, you can still make opportunity attacks from 5 feet away. But yeah, that's an interesting one for you. And then Sun Shield, I moved from level 17 up to level 3 because that is not a capstone feature at all. So I bumped it back up here to level 3 so we can now glow in a 30-foot radius, and then we have an additional glow of 30 feet. I've seen some people online that just give you the light spell or the dancing light spell. I've got some plans for this later on in the build, and so I thought that the way that it was worded was okay because it's going to combo with something a little bit later. So I left that how it is. What I didn't leave how it is, though, is the reactionary attack or burst that we can deal. With this now, instead of it being the 5 plus your wisdom modifier, it's now monk level plus wisdom modifier. So yeah, it starts off less, but you've got a lot more room to grow. And so it's going to deal a lot more damage. And since it's a reaction, we can only do it once per turn. I think that's fine. And I think it's some nice scaling, and it gives us something else that we can do. So I think we're off to a good start so far. Now, this next one that I'm doing at level 6, I'll admit I don't think is the strongest of the things in the world, but again, we're working on a complete kit that works together with itself. And so we'll see. I'm calling this Blinding Strike. And so it's going to work actually very similarly to Stunning Strike, just with a couple small differences. So with this feature, whenever we hit a creature with an unarmed strike that uses our Radiant Sunbolts, it actually will allow us to deal this out and to actually have the ability to blind a target. So they make a dexterity saving throw rather than constitution. And if they fail that save, then they are blinded until the end of our next turn. So it works exactly the same way as a Stunning Strike would. It's just a better save to target because blinded isn't nearly as bad as stunned. So I don't think that they should both be constitution, because at that point there's no reason to go after the Blinding Strike if you can just Stunning Strike anyway, because now our Stunning Strikes will extend out because they're all unarmed strikes. So yeah, I think that it has to target a different saving throw in order for it to make any sense to use at all. So yeah, I think that's pretty cool. And of course, I put this caveat in here just to have it in here. You cannot Blinding Strike and Stunning Strike in the same attack. You can, of course, blow one on one attack and one on another. That's totally fine, but you can't do both necessarily at the same time. So that can be interesting, and they can combo into each other, which is pretty cool. So yeah, I think that that's actually a lot better of a replacement for this. And it just gets better as we keep going. For Searing Sunburst, I didn't make terrible amount of changes here. I basically just bumped up the initial damage, and you no longer can spend key to make it any worse. I don't think that we need that. Even with key empowered strikes, I don't think that we need to have that key cost that we can spend with it. I think it just dealing half of a fireball just stock is fine. And of course, it now will deal half as much damage on a success instead of it just dealing 0 on a success. I think the dealing 0 on a successful save is just awful. And so now it deals 4d6 or half as much on a save, and it's still Constitution. I think this one needs to stay Constitution because it is completely different from the Stunning Strike. And it's got a much longer range than what the other one did. And I don't think that it needs to be a fireball because there's no cost to it. I think it being a full fireball is way too much damage. If you can do it for free as much as you want, I think half a fireball is fine. And I don't think it needs to go any higher than that. I think that it's totally fine staying there. And then finally, we have a new ability that I'm calling Radiant Shield. This is our new capstone ability, and this just wraps everything up together and makes it all gel into one, which is great. So basically, we can now go Super Saiyan, which is awesome. So with this, as a bonus action, we can spend 2 key points, and we can bolster our Sun Shield feature that we got back at level 3, which we originally got at level 17. So I just kind of wanted to tie all of that together. And so we get a few benefits that last for a minute. Number 1, our range of bright and dim light is going to double. So we do have to be lit up for this to work. And I did put a note on here as well that when you light up initially, it can be part of the same bonus action if it was extinguished before. The light doesn't have to necessarily be on and then you do it the next time. It can all be as part of the same bonus action, which I think is fine. I don't think that you necessarily need to set it up one turn and then do it in the next turn. I think that's clunky. I think that's dumb. I think just doing it all in one go is cool. Your Radiant Sunbolts are going to then match your radius for the bright light. So they are now 60 feet. So you can now Stunning Strike people, and the Blinding Strikes, you can do all of that from up to 60 feet away now, which is huge for a monk to be able to stay safe and to be able to deal that stuff out from a really long range. And finally, whenever a creature is within that radius, which is huge, as long as they are hostile to you, because if this worked on allies, then this would be the worst thing. But if a creature is hostile to you and it is within that radius of light, then it's going to have disadvantage on attack rolls, and it's going to have disadvantages on saving throws against your Blinding Strikes and your Searing Sunbursts. So I think that giving us that advantage and working it all together is going to be really nice. You're probably going to be a front liner, but you don't necessarily have to be because you've got such a huge range. And so with some strategic placement with your superior mobility that you have here, this is now a very powerful option that can be a really nice debuff to your enemies. And so I think that this is great. We don't get the OP ability until level 17. I think we need an OP ability for something like this. And it just makes the whole kit work together, in my opinion, to be a little more seamless and not so disjointed like what the original was. So yeah, that's pretty much our fix. I think it's pretty simple as far as the fixes go, but it's drastic enough to where I think it's warranted. And I think that we've made this subclass a lot better and a lot more worth using. But I want to know what you think down in the comments below. Did I go too far? Did I not go far enough? Do you think this is still absolutely the worst thing in the world? Let me know. I want to know in the comments below. Next week, we're going to be doing another variety build, and you're going to like this one. It's great. I think you're going to love it. It's basically just like, I want to deal a ton of damage, and this is how you can do it. And so it's going to be a damage focused build, and it's going to be absolutely fantastic, and you're going to love it. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that video. And then we get to begin on the Paladin road, which is going to be amazing as well. A lot of people love the Paladin class. And then I will get to give my opinions on it, and we will do some build guides together. So until next time, stay safe out there, stay healthy. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.